Let's move on to people that don't have issues and the things that they should be doing to avoid and prevent getting IBS, which might lead to IBD. With epigenetic factors, it could be something that happens in their life, and they want to prevent that, that manifestation of that gene that they might have with regards to gut issues. What should people doing? And maybe you can just sort of expand on, probiotics, digestive enzymes,
Yep.
is it ozone? Is it hyperbaric to protect the gut?
Great question. So, preventative measures. The first thing you have to do is I want you to focus on a lifestyle that eliminates things that are inflammatory. I think a lot of us are going, okay, maybe I've got some funds and maybe I've got some time. What biohacking idea can I get into? And in my opinion, the first thing you focus on is what you're not doing, not what you are doing. You don't go drink a beer and then get in a hyperbaric oxygen chamber at 2 atmosphere pressure to 60 to 90 minutes, 5 days on, 2 days off to counteract the beer. You just stop drinking beer. Okay. So, for example, beer is one of the highest things in our civilization with glyphosate. In our Western world with glyphosate, yeast, and yeast is something that people with Crohn's colitis tend to have an antibody reaction to. Anti-Saccharomyces cerevisiae is a yeast like brewer's yeast. So if you even think about that, maybe tequila, get rid of the beer as an example. So here's some steps is, can you stop snacking? Let's say you want to thrive and you just want to prevent, okay? Try stop snacking. Before you even worry about, do I need to be in ketosis? Am I having too much sugar with my fruit? Is this the lectins that Dr. Gundry's talking about? Just stop snacking. Try to say, if you are going to snack on sprouted nuts and seeds. Snack on berries, okay? Have a tea, okay? Second thing, start drinking clean water that is not in plastic. I don't care how much it costs. I don't care what label it says. If you go to a store and buy water in plastic, you are ingesting microplastics. A recent research article showed that people with IBD have 50% more microplastics in their gut than the average person. 50% more. Okay.
Wow.
Let's also take this into context, Steve. 1 year before I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis at 22, 23 years old, I was wearing Invisalign for a year straight. Invisalign. Everyone know Invisalign? It's plastic that you're
Yeah.
gnawing on and chewing on and swallowing. Coincidentally, 1 year before I was diagnosed. And
Wow.
before that, I wasn't getting all that blood like I was. I was getting some, but not like this. I mean, the worst flare I had was literally right to almost to the day after a year of Invisalign.
Sure.
So that's something, okay? Get rid of plastics. You got to realize that toxins are the number one thing preventative that's going to help you. You could be doing infrared light. You could be taking BPC 157 subcutaneous, 500 micrograms, 5 days on, 2 days off. I don't care. If you are subjecting your body to toxins over and over again, it is going to hurt your mitochondria. It is going to cause cellular toxicity. It's going to hurt your gut lining, and it's going to disrupt the terrain of your microbiome. We talked about, remember, air, food, and water toxins are injuring your microbiome. They're weakening your force fields. Done. That's it. It's as simple as can be. You can go down the science and you can read 200 hours of clinical research to show you this. Things in your air, food, and water, emulsifiers like ice cream and peanut butter, okay? What do you think's holding it together? Polysorbate 80, destroying your gut lining. So you've got to get rid of the toxins, okay? Stop snacking unless it's a real food, all right? Start going to bed at the same time and waking up at the same time. I personally believe if you want to get ahead of this, the mornings are worth more than the nights. I know we are night owls and we like to go party, but I think someone who takes 9 to 5 as their sleep schedule instead of their work schedule is probably going to live longer, in my opinion. Okay. Your circadian rhythm is going to be better. Get rid of the electromagnetic frequencies when you sleep so your body can get into the parasympathetic. Okay. So no phones, no TV in the bedroom. Okay. That's going to be really helpful. See all this not doing stuff? Go to bed, get rid of TV, get rid of blue light, and do not charge your phone next to your head. If you're going to charge your phone, go to shieldedhealing.com and get a grounded charger so that the electromagnetic frequencies can be grounded to the ground and not be disrupted, causing cellular damage and dysfunction. Yeah. So what are you not doing? I think, I was actually talking to someone who's really gone above and beyond, and this is more for advanced, and I think a lot of people are missing. If you're already doing intermittent fasting, you're already eating clean, you're already eating organic, you're already going to bed at the same time, you're exercising 4 to 5 days a week. I think one of the biggest things people are missing is living in mold. I think that's the new revolution right now. And I actually believe the future of people buying houses is they're going to require that these houses have been fully inspected for mold, especially if you're a natural medicine person or you're someone who's buying. I saw an article the other day that said people who are buying $5 million houses or over are starting to require that you do true inspections of home health. It's like you could have a built-in gym, you could have all the sauna, but if there's black mold in that house that you're breathing in, forget about it. Forget about it. You're done. Okay?
Yeah.
Mycotoxins, we need proper remediation. It's expensive and it's hard to do. All right. So there's a website. What's the name? Let me actually just see if I can get you that website, acac.org. You can actually go there and see if you can search for a quality mold inspector and mold remediator. These need to be certified people who know what they're doing. Okay.
Wow.
So I'd say the biggest things you can do for your health, you got to stop living in mold. And why is this big a problem, guys? Because we are now using so many antifungals in modern day living that's making the mold stronger. It's metamorphosizing into stronger versions. Also, we didn't live in insulated houses 100 years ago. We didn't have pipes with water surrounded by fake wood, medium density fiber wood, and drywall, which is all mold igniters. It's like fire starter for mold. Our houses are like fire starters for mold. They are insulated. We have these AC units. We have water running through every wall. Any leaks, and boom, you've got mold growing and it's insulated. It can't leave. And now you're just living in mycotoxins. Get a Jasper. Jaspers are expensive, but I think it's the best. My client just did a before and after in one of her rooms with the Jasper for mold, and her Petri dish was like, it was unbelievable. Like 2 to 3 days later with the Jasper, and the Petri dish was clean. Before
What
that,
is the Jasper? What is the Jasper?
it's a really high-end 360-degree circular air filter. It's ultra HEPA certified. It gets rid of 99% of mold, viruses. It can help get rid of COVID or flu in your house. It can clean up to about 990 or 1,000 square feet of a space. Wow. So another good one is like the Air Doctor 4000, which is about half the price, but it's made of plastic, but it's more cost-effective, and it's got, I think, relatively as good of a HEPA filter. So it actually does a similar job. It's just not as durable and sleek as the Jasper. So I think a big thing that's missing is underlying mold. It's hard. You have to learn it. So a few takeaways right there. Get rid of rugs in your house, carpet and rugs. Okay. Now rugs, I'd say your rug, if you got really old rugs that you're stepping on with shoes, you need to change them out. Same with your rugs in your bathroom that are constantly getting wet. Okay. Carpets need to be changed, or just throw down real floors, okay, which can be expensive. So I think another thing, when you start looking at fixing your house of mold, it's an expensive and timely thing, and it takes a lot of rapport and strategy. So just one step at a time, but those are a few things you can do right there. And just be careful where there's running water. Like mold's usually going to be around toilets. It's going to be behind the refrigerator or in the refrigerator. It's going to be in the bathrooms. If there's like a leak in your tile, where you take a shower, it can start dripping down. That's what happened to me. I found black mold right above me. Wow. And when I bought this house, they swore there was no mold. I found a huge amount of black mold, but it took me, I don't know, $4,000 to find it.
Jeez.
So let me save you some money, guys. Okay. Number one thing, you must request that a mold inspector do an in-wall air cavity sample. Open air ERMI tests, I do not feel are truly effective. They need to drill a tiny incision into the drywall, get a vacuum that sucks the air out of the wall into a little sample kit. It's called an in-wall air cavity sample. That to me is what I found. I've hired from mold dogs where I have dogs sniffing for mold. I've done tons of open air tests in the house. The thing that found the black mold was the in-wall air cavity sample. You can also get one of those little thermometers or things that start to see, is there any water damage on your drywall? Because if there's water damage on drywall, like you're seeing like a peel, you're seeing it bubble up, that's usually a sign that there's some kind of leak and there's water behind that wall. And unfortunately, you got to cut open that drywall, deal with the mold in there, try to cut out whatever or sand down whatever, humidify it, and then put the drywall back up. It costs some money, but it can cost a lot more than you think. I've heard clients have to spend $50,000, $100,000 to get rid of mold in their house, and they own, $2-3 million. I'm not even kidding. Like, especially like my clients in San Diego, where they own $3-4 million houses, or New York, or just, people with real, because at that point it's like, I'm living in mold, I have an autoimmune disease, and this house is so expensive. I mean, what am I going to do? And am I going to try to sell it? If someone
Mm.
finds out you got mold in that house, I mean, morally and legally, good luck. So it's something that it's a real danger. So if you're thinking like right now, I would just put down wood around the house, get rid of carpet, get rid of old rugs, stop wearing shoes into your house. Make sure that you're cleaning out your refrigerator every once in a while. You can use something called EC3, which helps reduce mold from growing. So you can clean your dishwasher with it. You can clean your washer and dryer, and you can clean your fridge. Now, and there's a lot you can do there. So we actually have a mold breakdown. So one of the things we do in IBDU is we look at every different problem that could be causing chronic inflammation, and we try to build mini courses on it. So we have a mini course on mold and how to start dealing with it and how to clean your stuff. And we have mini courses on hyperbaric oxygen or peptides, or we're doing one right now on ozone therapy, like rectal insufflation ozone. So Steve, I mean, I can tell you're eating this up like candy. And I know a lot of people out there might be thinking the same, is like, so this is what I'm telling you, get into an authentic place where they're getting on the offense, they're curious. And I find that the best, like, we have one practitioner who doesn't have IBD, but he's got 3 doctorates and he's genius. He's good. He does traditional Chinese medicine, acupuncture. He's a naturopath doctor, and he's a doctor of chiropractic medicine. I mean, this guy is awesome, but it's still hard for him to push because he doesn't do these protocols on himself.
Yeah. Got you.
Like, I'm doing coffee enemas, Steve. I'm doing rectal insufflation with ozone.
Yeah.
I'm doing peptides. I'm using RDLA. I'm doing fasting. So I can come back, and it creates this continuous growth for the community.